Welcome back to ESPN FC. In just 24 hours, the wait will be over for the U.S. men's national team as they kick off their 2026 World Cup campaign against Paraguay right here in Los Angeles. Here's a look at their group. They'll also have to go up against the likes of Australia and Turkey, which can always be a tricky one. Let's hear from Christian Pulisic and Tyler Adams ahead of this game.
Yeah, we're a really good team. We're able to compete with anyone, and we want to be a real force in this tournament. I think that's what we want to show to everyone. I think we know, from the inside what we're capable of, and yeah, now it's about showing it. I mean, I think we showed it a lot in recent games. I think it's ready to respond to anything that comes to us. That we know we have to be ready to battle. It's not about just playing beautiful football. We have to do the little things and compete.
How are you going to cope with the nerves, like whatever? But then you realize when the whistle blows, it's just another game. Obviously, the stakes are higher. There's more to play for, but that doesn't change my mentality. You got to stay present in where you're at, and ultimately, that's what allows you to play your best.
All right, players from the U.S. men's national team, they're seemingly ready for what's going to be a very high-pressure situation right here at SoFi Stadium. Behind us, Jurgen, if you're Mauricio Pochettino, 24 hours away from a World Cup on home soil, what are you telling your players?
Not much. I mean, I had the philosophy a bit, that especially game day, I leave them alone. But game day is emotional day. I don't think that you can bother them anymore with any tactical or organizational issues, find stuff that, all that is done prior to the game. I mean, the days leading up towards the game, you do your homework, you do all the, the bits and pieces in training sessions and the talks. But as soon as it approaches the evening before the game, you start to leave them alone, because every player is different. Every player has his own way of preparing himself. And you got to let them do their thing, They are all anxious. They are a bit nervous too. I mean, I was a player myself and played the World Cups. I don't want anybody on game day to kind of give me a speech or make me dizzy, with words. And I just hope that they enjoy the moment, that they really take this opportunity and make it a lifetime moment for themselves, have a smile in their faces, and then go for it.
Well, we've talked about it with these guys, Jermaine, a lot over the last couple of months about how good is this U.S. men's national team. Christian Pulisic said right there that they're really good in his opinions. What are your thoughts on it?
First of all, I wanted to say this, what Jürgen said, the one point is just to enjoy it. Enjoy the moment. I think that's the biggest thing, Like when I remember when we went to the 2014 World Cup, like I said, like when you take over with the plane and you come down there, it's just about enjoy the whole experience, take it too. And now it's even better, you're playing at home. So the other question is now, yes, we know that this group is a special group and they have a lot of talent. Are they proving it so far? I think we all can talk about and say not 100% every game. So we see a little bit of shining, but not like that we go and say, oh, this is an amazing game of play, how we do it. We shoot other teams or other countries out of the stadium. It's just not right now. But
what's missing for you? What's the main thing?
I think for me it's just that little bit of grit, I would say. The grit of because when we look back in this country, we were standing for fight. We were standing for never giving up, believing, and that was our main thing. So now we have a new generation. They are young, especially when I look back at the Qatar World Cup. Everybody talk, this is the first team that come together. They're young, they will grow and grow. But now we're at home. Now we have to show it. There's no hiding anymore because they have it, but they have to show it now. And the best stage to show it is now, do it in the home field and improve the people wrong who maybe doubted you.
Yeah, the time is now. Casey, we also heard from Tyler Adams there. He said, look, we know the headlines and all the pressure and all the talk coming into this game, but once that whistle blows, it's just another game. Yep. Is that the right way to look at it?
Well, it is. But yes, you also know the gravity of it. Yeah. So that weighs a little bit on top of you. But, Jürgen made the point about Mexico is, in the end, all that matters is the result at this stage. And I think to Jermaine's point, what we haven't seen is this team find ways to consistently get results. They've played well at times. They've done things. We said, okay, we like where it's trending, But then in the end, it has to trend toward one goal, and that's points, and get enough points to give yourself a much better position to advance out of those knockout stages. So that is the next step. Manage the stress, manage the pressure, enjoy it, but find a way to get the result.
Well, Jermaine Herc pointed out that he feels that this U.S. just needs a little bit more grit, and grit is what we're expecting from Paraguay, whether or not they do have the likes of Enciso, who we know we're still monitoring. But now, against Paraguay, what are you expecting? What do they need to do?
They need not to come down, and I say this respectfully, to the level of Paraguay. If you want to outfight Paraguay, outclaw Paraguay, you're going to lose. You're going to come second best every single time. That's who they are, the type of competitors they are. They're a very physical bunch. Gustavo Alfaro has brought order to this team. They know how to defend. They know how to make it physical. They know how to make it ugly. And I say this respectfully. The U.S. has proven, I think, under Mauricio Pochettino, a handful of times, they can play toe-to-toe with just about anybody. But can you do it for 90 minutes? Not the 25 minutes versus Belgium, not 15 here versus Portugal, not 60 versus Uruguay. Can you do it for 90 minutes and not shoot yourself in the foot? Not give up a silly goal like you did versus Senegal. Not give up a silly foul like you did versus Germany. Have the goalkeeper come out and not make a mistake. Have the defender stay goal side like they did against Germany. We can go back to Paraguay getting beat down the left-hand side. Ball comes in. We can go down to Ecuador on a counter. There's always a silly mistake. And an individual mistake, not tactical. That's not on Mauricio Pochettino. So can you do that, and can you not play into the hands of Paraguay? If you play football, you've got a very good chance of getting 3 points. But if you think this game is about clawing and fighting, you're in for something else. Emotional intelligence.
But Herc, have you seen this team be able to break down a team that drops back and and defends very well?
At times. And this Paraguay game that we saw where Giovanni Reyna was involved in both goals. It's Max Arfston down the left-hand side where I think Paraguay is very vulnerable. A lot of their goals are given up there. 1v1 play, he beats the player, sends it into Giovanni Reyna. Giovanni Reyna is by himself in the area, heads it, goal. Second play, it's good pressure by Diego Luna, not here. Christian Roldan. They give up the ball. Giovanni Reyna slips it in. Individual error from the Paraguayan defender, and it's Fuller and Balogun who puts it away. You can put Paraguay in some compromising positions who sit in a mid to low block. You can do that, but you can't do it and make mental individual mistakes, emotional intelligence. I know that we've all been to a World Cup, and I remember the other side that's not the field. Worrying about my family and friends and the tickets. Worrying about reading about what's going on and the pressures, or lack thereof, that there are in this country when it comes to the game. You can't allow yourself to already be preoccupied with something that's not inside that green rectangle. Because once the game starts, it's about being smart. We saw it with Mexico, South Africa. If you're emotionally intelligent, you give your team a chance to win, to compete. And if if the U.S. men's national team competes on the field the right way with football, they can get 3 points. If they bring it down to physicality and fight and spirits, they're going to come second best to Paraguay.
With what the USA have, Jermaine, how far realistically do you think they can go in this tournament?
Oh, I think it will be how they go with the first game. So, because I think if they lose that game, then it's already a lot of pressure on them, especially then to now go to the second game, and then you have to win. So I hope that we get out of the group stage. And but to add to that, what Herc said, for me is it important that a lot of games I see in the U.S. is working and playing good is when Christian Pulisic has a good day. So, and I think that is a big problem. So I think in general as a team, you have to step it up. And I think there's Weston, there's so many guys. They all have to step it up. And like we said, you play in a World Cup, so there's no hiding anymore. Everybody dreamed as a young boy to play at this stage, enjoy it, have fun, but I don't think that it can only be Christian Pulisic, because if it's only him, we will get in problems.
Yeah, Jürgen, if it's not Christian, then who?
Well, for a coach, the hope is always, who's capable to step it up in a tournament. So a tournament is a completely different story to the normal kind of seasonal games, qualifying games or friendly games. So you rely as a manager, as a coach, you rely on those couple of personalities that you have in your team, and you are desperate to look for them. So obviously Christian Pulisic is the leader of that pack, but it cannot only be him. It needs a Tyler Adams, it needs a Weston McKennie, it needs 3, 4, 5 guys. I was lucky to coach them in 2014 in Brazil, but I had a Tim Howard in goal in sensational form. I had Jermaine in midfield, I had Michael Bradley, I had Clint Dempsey up front, I had DeMarcus Beasley. I had personalities where I knew if they have an issue on the field, they will take care of it. Yeah, they talk it out. They keep each other on the toes, because what Hook says, these individual small mistakes, when you know that your teammate doesn't allow you to do those mistakes, you are right there. You're not making that mistake. Like the two red cards from South Africa, totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
Damaged now the team for the next game. They're already on their edge. So you need to have that discipline, but that discipline is given to you also by your teammates. And when you look around and maybe, you are a younger player like a John Brooks in Brazil, he looks around and Jermaine tells him something, or DeMarcus Beasley or Tim Howard tells him something, then he's spot on. He's not making any mistake anymore. So this is leadership. And I hope that they define their clear roles of leaders in the next couple of weeks. It's not only Christian Pulisic, it's the other guys too. Step it up now, because this opportunity is not coming again.
Casey, and just speaking about leaders, another one who is a leader as well is Chris Richards. Of course, we know he has been dealing with an injury. According to our Jeff Carlisle, he has been looking good in training, looks fit enough to play. We will ultimately see. But if he is, do you start him?
I think so. I think to the points made, you need your stars to perform. You then need your role players to play their role. And then you could also use that odd surprise where you're like, wow, I didn't expect that from that player to perform that well. Chris Richards is one of your stars. He's your defensive leader, a guy that, has done so well in the Premier League, has then really established himself. And to have that foundation, you have a goalkeeper that's probably going to be untested in Matt Friese. And when you can have a leader who's come across the way he has, not only for country, but for club as well, and to be in the situation that he's been in, to have him, I think it's paramount, but only if he's to the level that he can. What that level is, because we all know, you don't go into how many matches do you go into where you were 100%. No. I mean, I would have felt weird at some stage of a season to go, oh, I'm 100% today. No, there's always something you're feeling, and so I think he's got the experience to be able to battle through it.
All right, well, we are 100% into World Cup mode and international football, but believe it or not,